Good morning. Remember Robin Williams says,
Yeah, I know.
"Good
That's exactly
morning."
what went through my
Yeah.
mind.
I
Uh,
think everybody well,
you
not
know,
everybody, it's people of a certain age, right? We don't all share uh cultural things. I know that's for sure because in my our improv troupe, we'll make some reference like that and the kids are looking at us like, "What are you doing there, boomer?"
what
You
are you
know?
talking about? Really super quick. Kimberly's mother came into town yesterday. She's going to be here a week.
Well, that's nice.
And I mean, I love her mother.
There you go.
But we were sitting out, and you've been here, so you know what her deck is. And we're sitting out there talking about Ozzie and Harriet.
Oh my goodness.
And Kimberly's going, who are they?
Who?
And
But
then,
you could talk to mom pretty good, right?
yeah, I know. And we're chuckling about it and talking about Ricky Nelson and
Oh yeah.
that whole piece. And so I had to look up interestingly enough, on YouTube for Ozzie and Harriet and Ricky Nelson. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, he's Dewey Freeman. I'm Mark Sylvester. This is the Elder Council.
good
I
morning.
I wanted to we don't get into the politics. There's enough political stuff that people can listen to, but we're looking deeper inside ourselves and looking at specifically things we would have liked to have known sooner in life that would help us. Luckily, we've lived this long. I think specifically we've been allowed to live this long so we can go back and talk to the younger versions, the younger
Mhm.
men, and so that's what we do. If is your first time listening to us, I'm writing tomorrow about censorship and comedy, which goes back to Smothers Brothers. Talk about an old, there has been censorship in comedy all the way as long as there's been comedy, because comedy links to satire. Satire tends to be towards leaders and leadership. Leaders
Mhm.
and leaders don't like that kind of thing, so they try to squash it. And has led me to write about it because I perform in improv, as you know, and I will say inappropriate things, and I will do inappropriate gestures, and a lot of times it's just I unconsciously go to do that, which maybe I should talk to a therapist about, uh, doc. Uh,
I don't know a
um,
good therapist.
oh God, but it's only and what happens is I had done a thing and it got a little bit of a gasp, but then a laugh. So I did it again, and afterwards, my bride and the master of ceremonies for our shows goes, "What was that? What were you?" I says, "Well, they laughed." Just yeah, no, no, and it's not like it was a shock jock thing or a shock comic thing. Uh, it was just inappropriate. And so my question to you is that voice, that what do they say? In open mouth, engage brain, or don't engage, whatever that thing is. Like you open your mouth
Engage
before
brain,
you.
open mouth instead of open mouth, engage brain.
Right. If you haven't heard that, it's just like think about what you're going to say before you say it. However, in improv comedy, we're specifically taught to turn that off. Don't think, don't be up in your head. Let it just, what's the thing that comes to you, and just go with that and be honest and true. And your feelings, whatever that, however, what they said made you feel, and just do that. Don't think. The editor part of the brain kind of needs to be working. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because I know in a relationship there's the thing we want to say and the thing we say, right? Because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or we don't, and then someone will say, well, why don't you speak your truth? Why don't you just say the truth? And so I think all of those things are related, and I thought maybe you've got a point of view on that.
Well, I mean, clearly, what a big piece of what you're bringing up has to do with context. I mean, I don't know what you said in improv. I know you well enough to know that you have an edge to your sense of humor at times, which I is one of the many, many things I love about you. Um,
Having an edge and cutting are two different things.
that could be. So there's two things that come to mind when you speak. One is when I speak and when I'm working with people, I just came back Tuesday from a 5-day, helping to lead a 5-day retreat up in Massachusetts for 40 men,
Well,
which went quite well. Um, and a big piece of what we spoke about was, yes, we need to say our truth, and it has more to do with how we say what we say versus what we say, which is, do we say stuff, whatever we need to say, in a way that preserves the relationship, or do we say stuff that in a certain way that doesn't preserve the relationship? So
oh, okay, okay.
that's one aspect. The other aspect is, especially I think around censoring, which part of what sort of wandered through my thinking when you were talking about that is self-sabotage.
Mm.
Do we censor ourselves as a way to sabotage ourselves?
I've heard the term self-sabotage, and I think I don't understand it because I don't think I do that. Only because that I hear that word and I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't do that to myself. I wouldn't want to do that to myself. But how does that work, Doc?
Well, I don't think you self-sabotage yourself either. The part of what happens is that many times when we desire something or we want or need to say something, or we're right, we've just built up and we've prepared to, like, for instance, I know that you help produce and guide TED Talks, TEDx Talks. Like a self-sabotaging thing would be somebody practicing, 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 and then they go out on stage and they don't do what they practiced. They just totally change it. Or um, they, I mean, those kinds of things. And oftentimes, even in relationships, we will self-sabotage. One of the main reasons I believe that we self-sabotage, and by self-sabotaging, what I mean is we undercut what we really want. We undercut what we really tried for or practiced for. We undercut what our dreams. It's like, yeah, I have a dream of X, Y, and Z, but it won't work out, and et cetera, et cetera. My perspective of self-sabotaging is that when we do that, it's for the purpose of being in control. Because at least I know what's going to happen. Um, I just had this with a person that I'm working with who loves horses and they've ridden a little bit, but they want to learn to ride better. And I gave them the resources to do that, the people and the places. And they set up a time 3 different times and they canceled it, like at the last minute. And when we sort of dug down into it, it's like, well, I know what's going to happen if I cancel it, meaning I'm going to be safe. I won't have to risk anything. You know, I won't have to take the time to drive out there and learn something new. That's maybe a little bit scary to me. Um, so a lot of times when we censor something and don't say it, if if we do that sort of with the first rule or first paradigm I talked about around honoring a relationship, what happens is all we need to do is change how we say it. If we're really self-sabotaging, what we do is we undercut ourselves and don't say it and don't take that risk.
So when so I'm thinking about the relationship a comedian has with the audience, right? There's definitely a relationship there. And even if the audience is a whole theater full or your friends that are standing around you, and you say something, and we've all had this happen to us. You say something or someone says something that the kids would say is cringe. We would say it makes us cringe, right? They'll
Hmm.
just go, dude, that was cringe, right? That happens.
Hmm.
And yet we may stifle a chuckle, right? It may be funny, but it's inappropriately funny. But a part of us laugh, and some people will get up in arms about it, both ends, and
Hmm.
there's some middle in there. But you just said if you change how you say it, then so how if the content of what I'm saying is cringeworthy, and I say it without any sensibility for the audience. Can I say the same thing in a way that the audience hears it without cringing?
Yeah, I believe we can. Yeah.
Really? So what
Hmm.
I love this. So what would I be thinking about if I was thinking? I mean, like how would I change? I mean, I do not want to say something cringeworthy right now, but how would I? And I'm not desiring to, or I just would. But what are the kinds of little agents? Because I think about like the little voices
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
in our
yeah, yeah.
head.
Little voices in your head.
What would they say?
What they would say, it would be something like, conceptually, what I have to say, I'm talking about being a comedian and improv. Conceptually, what I have to say really is pretty funny. Because if you really look at life and you can really step back and look at pretty much anything in life, much of it we need to have a sense of humor about.
Life's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
just inherently humans are funny.
Yeah. And particularly if we can sort of step back and not take things quite so seriously. But it's like we can hold what's funny and at the same time go, we can actually say whatever is funny in a way that actually is demeaning to somebody else,
Mm.
which um, would be probably more objectifying the other being or the other party or parties. Or we can use that same idea that's funny and say it in a way that's based more relationally on whatever um, whatever that idea is.
So I'll engage those. I'll let that committee work. The rest of the committee goes and takes a break while I'm performing tonight. And if I notice like this all has to happen in faster than real time because the whole reaction is part of the feedback we get is you guys are so quick. Like we're fast, 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 right? Especially when Ross and I are playing together. Or even Harnor now is just kid 24. He's brilliant. It's just fast and speed. Mechanical engineer of all things.
Of all
And
things.
and and what his head is doing, I asked him, I said, what's the deal with you, dude? Like, what's going on? He goes, oh, Well, I see the world as formulas. Everything mechanical engineering, it's all formulas, it's
Mhm.
all ratios. So I'm trying to figure out what's the formula of the joke that's being constructed in real time, and what's the piece that needs the missing piece that I can add that will complete the joke. I was like, dude, oh my God, that's like, yeah, yes.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
I knew you would, but he struggles with that because he can't turn that off. Like
No,
that's hard to turn that off.
when we think in certain kinds of ways, we can't turn it off. That is true. That's innate within us.
So is that unconscious competence?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Hmm. Can I give an example here?
Yeah.
You were in Denver for my 75th birthday party.
Yep.
Kimberly, my partner, and I have this little gnome
I know. She's a little sweetheart.
that sort of we play with and we make jokes about, and we make up weird sounding words. And unfortunately, that little gnome, when we were packing up to come home, or fell and broke both her little legs off the bottom.
Thank God I didn't do that. Oh my God.
Well, thank God I didn't do that too. I put it in her truck thinking it would be safe. She would be safe. But here's what I'm getting to. Little gnome fell out, both legs came off. You were there. Do you remember exactly what you said? Because what you said could not have been any better.
No, I don't.
What you said is either things go well or we have a story to tell.
Oh, right, right, right.
It's not, I think I got that
Yeah,
pretty.
you got that right. Yeah.
So this little gnome getting busted up now is one of the funniest things we have going. And so it's like we can take, if we would have gone, had you said, which I know you never would, it's like, well, you shouldn't have opened the door. You should have been more careful.
He
So,
should.
so what you did was take, if things don't go well, what you did was acknowledge that something didn't go great. But you didn't say you shouldn't have done that, or how silly was that, or you should have been more careful. So that's what I'm talking about. You made the statement that actually it was a true statement. It didn't go well. But then you added a piece that we have a story to tell. So now we've made up probably
Of
30 different stories, and we laugh about it. And Kimberly goes, "Yeah, Mark put his arm around me and
course.
my ear, and I was all upset. And had he not said that, and so we can take something that is upsetting, and because it's done relationally,
Yeah,
we can make
right.
fun of it
Yeah.
and laugh about it and joke.
Well, let's see. Let's see how I do tonight. I'll report next week.
Yes, please.
I'm going to keep myself out of trouble. Things will go well, or I'll have a story.
You'll have a story to tell,
I'll have a
and
story to tell.
we will tell our stories next on our next podcast. So
Oh, Doc. Hey, I love you, man.
I love you too. This is